Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to speak to you today. Many thanks to the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership for inviting me to take part. It's fitting that we're using virtual technology because the theme of this event is how we can do things differently as we emerge from the COVID crisis. For decades, we've been hearing how digital technologies and video conferencing would replace the need for business meetings. But for various reasons, the technology never really caught on. It's taken just 4 months of coronavirus lockdown for that to change, to alter our perceptions of how businesses and people can stay in touch. And it's brought real benefits. By not physically meeting for this low carbon conference, I wonder how much carbon we've saved. At a time when we're urging people to avoid public transport, I wonder how many journeys we've saved. Coronavirus has changed us, just as it's changed our world. And that gives us a unique opportunity within transport to rethink the way that we travel, to speed up the development of clean technologies, and to put green recovery at the heart of our plans for the future. Now, part of the opportunity is to shift opinions, to impress on the country that the green transport revolution, which we've been talking about for many years, is actually happening now. Some of the transformational improvements are literally within touching distance. Our £2 billion investment programme to boost cycling and walking, for example, and our work with councils to redesign the street landscape so they can cope with millions more bikes and pedestrians. These are sensible, practical measures that not only keep people off public transport and prevent the spread of the virus, but also improve the health of the nation. But there's also an opportunity for us to reframe the narrative around green cars, vans, buses and trucks to show that it is this generation that will drive the transition away from fossil fuels to zero carbon road transport. A revolution no less historic than the coming of the railways or commercial aviation. And that's something that we will do together, government, industry and academia. Just as we've done since the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership was founded 17 years ago. For all that time, the partnership's name has reflected the work it's been doing, supporting the development and use of low carbon vehicles on Britain's roads. But low carbon vehicles are no longer our goal. We have to decarbonise road transport altogether and demonstrate that both government and industry are united in our commitment to achieve that goal. So let me float the idea that maybe now is a good time to consider a new name for the partnership. The name's important, but it's nothing if it's not backed with action. So in months ahead, we will see the government putting its full weight behind the Net Zero campaign, behind rebuilding our infrastructure, investing in modern transport connections, and scaling up ambitions as we work towards our full transport decarbonisation plan later this year. I hope you've seen that we've not been wasting our time whilst battling the virus. I've had the privilege to host 6 of the Downing Street press conferences since March, which has provided a fantastic platform to talk about the importance of green transport and to get on with delivering it. Let me just remind you of what we've announced. As well as cycling and walking funding, we've revealed plans to roll out 4,000 new zero-emission buses across the country and to establish the first UK all-hydrogen bus town. £12 million funding to develop the zero-emissions vehicles of the future and new charging infrastructure technologies to help more drivers go electric. £10 million to install up to 7,200 more on-street charge points. Plans to introduce green number plates for zero-emission cars, vans and trucks, which will raise awareness and help owners benefit from incentive schemes like cheaper parking for greener vehicles. Fast-track trials to make e-scooters available as quickly as possible across the country. And just the other week, I hosted the first meeting of the Net Zero Transport Board, hearing from the UK's experts on how we can best tackle emissions across the transport sector. All this comes on top of what we're doing before coronavirus even struck, through our £2.5 billion programme to tackle road transport emissions from motorcycles to the biggest HGVs. But we can achieve nothing without collaboration, without the extraordinary array of businesses, academic, environmental institutions that make up the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership. Our vehicle manufacturers, our technology developers, our fuel industries, our designers, engineers, our universities, who have made the remarkable progress in developing and selling greener vehicles in recent years, and the infrastructure on which they rely. Over 200 member organisations providing open and independent advice that informs government policy and that also allows our essential exchange of views on how we meet our shared objectives. Together, we've broken down barriers and boundaries with the Electric Vehicle Energy Task Force. We've established a robust scheme for retrofit accreditation. We've launched information campaigns to help the consumer understand changing fuel and vehicle technologies. And we will continue to work closely together to deliver zero carbon mass motoring and improve the charging experience. Just as important is commercial transport, not least freight and long-haul trucks, where LowCVP has been instrumental in overseeing testing to help us better understand the innovative technology within the tech sector. I also want to commend the partnership for the work it's done on buses, which has helped establish the bus industry as a zero carbon leader, an example for others to follow throughout other sectors. It's work that is literally saving lives as the air in our towns and cities becomes less polluted. The past few months have been amongst the most challenging for our country and incredibly tough, for many members of the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership. But I'm optimistic about the future. We have a history in our nation of driving change in transport. When we invented the railway, when we launched the jet age aviation, thanks to our brilliant engineers and our entrepreneurs, cutting edge technologies and supportive governments combining to bring about radical change. And now we stand on the verge of a new revolution, a green transport revolution, driven by the partnership I've spoken of today. So I can't wait to work with you, to bring that future forward, to create something extraordinary, and to put green transport at the heart of our recovery. Thank you.